In their 110 years of existence, Pearl River has found most of their athletic success in basketball. Despite the banners that hang in the gym, the Wildcats have never won a regional championship. Just to put in perspective of how dominant Joe Burrow has been, Falcons starting quarterback Matt Ryan threw for 8 touchdowns inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium this season. Burrow, after Saturday, has 11. I'm sure Saints fans love that stat. The Joe Moorhead era has not gone as well as most would like, and a win tonight could dictate whether that era continues here in Starkville. Bill, I just have to ask, Gulfport really didn't need to start their starters tonight given the fact that they won the region title, but I'm guessing because of the 22 region win streak they played. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh gosh, I'd say fly, I guess, and I guess you could have a bird's eye view at any time.
And the Oscar for the most dramatic win over the weekend goes to, thank you, the LSU Tigers upsetting number 5 Tennessee. Oh, budget cuts. Yo, who that nation? We have some Saints fans in the house. They're ready, I'm ready, are you ready, and are the Dallas Cowboys ready for the black and gold?
Shot at the division title.
I'm going to repeat something that Alvin Kamara said earlier this week. He said, do I still have a fleur-de-lis on my helmet? I was like, okay. And that was it. And it was because a reporter asked him, was like, hey, do you still plan on making it to the Super Bowl? He was like, hey, do we still play for the Saints? Okay, then. So the expectation, the standard is still a standard. Mike, if you're going to go to the state semifinals, a place where no other team before you has ever been, you've got to look the part. Check out the swag.
All
Check
right.
out the heat. Final Four ready, baby. New and improved helmet stickers
Those
to
are
give
nice.
out, guys. Well, since I'm the master of ceremonies, I'll do the honors and kick things off. This man needs no introduction. 6'2", 330 pounds, George County's McKinley Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Insane, mind-boggling, and thrilling. That's what comes to mind when describing what took place here at Davis Wade Stadium for the 2019 Egg Bowl. And the game's final drive will be etched in this rivalry's history forever. Consecutive title, eating 31.
You're about to do your own hot dog eating contest
I
here.
am.
Oh, dunking it in the water. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hurry. You got to go. Oh, we're about to surpass.
The Sports for South Mississippi with Josh Berrian.
Sponsored by The Sportsbook at Boomtown Casino.
LSU's 2019 season has been nothing short of amazing. From reinventing their offense with the help of former Saints assistant Joe Brady and transfer senior quarterback Joe Burrow to beating five top 10 teams and winning the SEC championship to clinch their first college football playoff appearance. It doesn't get much better than that. This year's national championship will be played in the Superdome in New Orleans, and what a story it will be to win it all in their home state. They'd have to go through Oklahoma first in the Peach Bowl, but tragedy struck just before kickoff for the Tigers as offensive coordinator Steven Ensminger loses his daughter-in-law, local TV reporter Carly McCord, in a plane crash. LSU playing with heavy hearts in the ATL. First quarter, Joe Burrow on the RPO slings the first touchdown of the game to Justin Jefferson from 19 yards out. This will be a reoccurring theme in this game, so pay attention. 5 minutes later, Kennedy Brooks slides to the left. Can't go there, goes right and muscles his way in to tie it up at 7-all. LSU up 14-7 now. Burrow winds up, lets it fly. Hello, Mr. Jefferson. 35-yard touchdown, Jefferson's second so far. But wait, there's more. Burrow to Jefferson. Stop it. What a catch. Jefferson was Count Von Count from Sesame Street, listing off how many touchdowns he had. Down 28-7, Oklahoma tries to get tricky. Jalen Hurts has eyes on an open man, but cookies. The track star Kerry Vincent closes the gap for the pick. LSU on another level at this point, folks. Afterwards, it's Burrow to Jefferson. Someone call MC Hammer because you can't touch this man. A college football playoff record 4 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts runs in for one of his 2 touchdowns, but the Tigers kept him and Oklahoma in check all game long, holding the Sooners to just 322 yards of offense. LSU hang 49 of their 63 points in the first half. Heisman Joe Burrow, 493 yards, 7 passing touchdowns, tying an FBS record for a bowl game as the Tigers will play for a national title back in Louisiana, obliterating Oklahoma 63-28. 8 teams entered Gulfport's 37th annual Adidas Holiday Classic, but only 2 teams remain unbeaten, and they went head-to-head tonight for the championship. Harrison Central taking on Meridian inside another packed-out Burt Jenkins gym for a top 10 finale. In the early going, it was all Meridian. Azarius Ellis is something serious with the crossover and the jumper. Philip Mosley is usually money from 3, not this time, but the ball tips out to Kyler Yarbrough, who hits it in rhythm. A few plays later, Jalen Davis charges down the floor, taking it coast to coast for the lay-in. Wildcats up big 23-10 after the first. Red Rebels get it together in the second. Michael King to Jacoby Moore in the paint. Next, Cameron Haynes. Step back. You don't know me like that. Buckets. Harrison Central with the steal later, and it's off to the races as Moore takes it to only where he can, to the sky for the jam. This one went down to the wire as Carlos Williams banked in a 3 at the buzzer to win it and knock off the #1 team in the state for the Red Rebels, 57-56. Earlier at Biloxi, day 2 of the 3rd annual Lady Indians Holiday Classic, where there was a rematch of last year's Class 4A semifinals between Moss Point and Ripley. Lady Tigers down 5 in the second half. Robin Lee to the rescue, gets in the lane for 2, then pulls up from the charity stripe for another, one of the best players in the Magnolia State. Next, Jordan Seals showing flashes of MJ himself with a nifty move to the cup to cut deeper into Ripley's lead, but it doesn't last long. Sierra Jackson banging inside for 2. Then Amelia Hatch adds 2 more. Despite a late steal and score by Lee, Moss Point falls short 38-32. And I showed plenty more highlights from that classic in our 6 o'clock. I'll have that up for you online on WLOX.com.
All right, Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. Picking up a new sport can be challenging, but it's easier to grasp when you have a mentor that can not only teach, but still have enough left in the tank to compete with you. Tonight, we bring you the story of Jim and Julie Seagroves, a pole vaulting duo flying high together. The last time Jim Seagroves found himself flying through the air was about 40 years ago as a pole vaulter for East Texas State University. The 65-year-old is now making his return to the runway, and as you can imagine, getting back in shape hasn't been easy.
Over a year ago, when I started training, I started running and sprinting too early before I lost enough weight and ended up tearing the meniscus in my knee, so that set me back about 6 months.
So why suffer the pain of coming out of retirement? Motivation to compete, as well as teaching the next generation, his baby girl, Julie.
Whoa, that was a good one.
When I was little, I would climb up walls because I would have a hallway in my house. I would climb them all the time, and I would do flips on my bed. That's when my parents realized that I had the ability.
Julie is quickly becoming one of the best young vaulters in the state. In her first meet, she won first place at the AAU Region 11 qualifier. The 12-year-old is also a gymnast, which helps her excel in pole vaulting.
It's given me the strength to do it, and it's given me more confidence of flying through the air, because when you're in gymnastics, you do all these flips in the air, and I'm just used to it.
Given their age differences, Julie has never seen her dad in action until the perfect opportunity arose.
I read an article about the Mississippi State Games over a year ago, and when I read it, I learned that there was no age requirements, that the old guys can compete with the young kids, and I thought that would be the perfect meet for me and Julie to compete together in.
Not only did they compete, they dominated.
There you go! Right, yes!
Both jumping 7 feet and 6 inches to take home first place.
Yes!
Yes, yes!
Good job! I was pretty amazed because you don't see 65-year-old men doing pole vaulting at that age, so I was like, this is so cool.
I just thought it was really neat for one time to be able to have her cheer me on, and I was looking forward to that.
But the ultimate reward is not only the time they've spent together, but the bond they've created.
He hasn't gotten a medal in a long time, and I was just very happy to see him happy. That made me feel really good.
That was one thing that I could check off my bucket list, was competing in a pole vault event with my daughter. And we did it, and to make it even more special, it was the day before Father's Day. And so if I broke my leg and couldn't ever compete again, I would be a happy man still, now that I did that.
Jim and Julie will continue to compete as the dynamic duo they are, preparing for the USA Track and Field Masters Outdoor Championships in Ames, Iowa later this month.